grassroots organization founded in 1980 for the purpose of enhancing the quality of lives the native Hawaiian residents of Milolii Fishing Village, as well as protecting and preserving the cultural and archaeological sites and lands that exist in the South Kona Ahupua'a. Pa'apono Milolii strongly supports the resolution allocating $5,000 of contingency funds, sponsored by the distinguished councilwoman from District 6, Miley David. And Milolii Fishing Village today consists of 37 house lots, approximately 300 residents, and today sits in the center of the dengue outbreak that is affecting Hawaii Island. Well, dengue is no stranger to our island. We've seen this before, but we have never seen the dengue virus move so quickly and affect so many residents on our island. In fact, the first case of dengue was confirmed on the 11th of September, and as of today, 118 days later, we have over 200 cases of dengue, 202 to be exact, 182 of our residents and 20 visitors. In fact, 5 of those cases are in the heart of Milolii. And it is currently today the largest outbreak of dengue outside of the continental United States and Puerto Rico since World War II. So this is a very, very serious thing that we're dealing with on our island. It has closed 2 beach parks that are very, very popular to our Kama'aina and Malahini, and it's caused a ripple effect through our community of fear and apprehensiveness, and not knowing how we're going to move forward. Since the 23rd December, the county closed Milolii Beach Park. 2 days later, on Christmas Day, the state DLNR closed the hiking trail to Honomalino, and all unencumbered state lands to only residents can access Milolii Fishing Village. Over the past 5 weeks, it's been a collaborative effort of all government agencies to help Milolii. I'd like to personally thank the State of Hawaii Department of Health, its Chief Entomologist Sarah Park, Hawaii County Civil Defense Chief Oliveira, and Bill Hansen, Lance Uchida of the Hawaii County Fire Department, and finally Mayor Billy Kinoy and the Office of the Mayor for bringing nonprofits like Pa'apono Milolii together, and of course Councilwoman Miley David. Again, Pa'apono Milolii supports this resolution currently before the council, as we feel that contingency funds will go a very, very long way in helping our residents not only prevent but eradicate and get rid of this virus that's affecting our village and really about a 20-mile stretch of coastline in South Kona. I think it's a fantastic opportunity as an example for government and community organizations like Pa'apono to work together to help our keiki, our kupuna, and our island families. Mahalo.
Transfers $5,000 from Clerk Council Services Contingency Relief Account, Council District 6, and credits to the Civil Defense Agency Miscellaneous Contract Services account. Funds would be used to purchase materials and supplies to reduce and eliminate breeding mosquitoes, promote the Fight the Bite campaign, and engage in other measures to prevent dengue fever in the Milolii Fishing Village. Reference Communication 614, introduced by Ms. David.
I believe Mr. Kahele explained this quite well. The situation in Milolii, I feel we need to assist in any way that we can, and for me, being it is my district, I offer this contingency so we can continue the collaboration with the Mayor's Office, Civil Defense, and the state. And I understand we are going to be seeing or meeting shortly next week in the village. And I ask for your support because I believe the people that live there know exactly what their needs are. And Kai Kahele here has been taking the lead in identifying what the things that are much needed, and I'm very happy to help in that respect. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your support.
Just real quickly, what type of materials?
Yeah, I believe there's coils, the mosquito coils, the sprays. There are nets that have already been, mosquito nets that have already been purchased by Pa'apono, but there are other bigger items. There are several tanks, I understand, that have no covers, absolutely, and those are the things that I want to help with my contingency. And Pa'apono and the villagers are identifying, I think there's a half a dozen homes that really need some immediate help with those things, and basically the ongoing supplies that run out quickly, like the coils. The living situation down there would probably require coils to be going 24/7. really. So those things run out a lot. And I don't know if Kai wants to add more on what other supplies.
If you
The water catchment tanks in South Kona, which just about every home has on the South Kona coast, to include Ocean View and most rural areas out there, is a primary breeding ground for the mosquitoes, in particular the one carrying the dengue virus. So in Milolii village, we have, like I mentioned, 37 homes, active living homes down there, and several of the tanks are in disrepair and are urgently need, at the minimum, tank covers to protect the tank and limit the amount of mosquitoes and airborne pests that can have access to the tank. So those would be one primary method. We've already taken care of the initial preventative measures, whether it's mosquito nets or DEET-free and DEET sprays that are being used down there, and also mosquito coils as another preventative measure. But I think the water tanks are the other culprit. And it's not just covering the tanks, it's informing the communities and the individual households of how to properly manage the tanks, take care of the tanks, treat the tanks. Like I said, this is not a short-term fix. We have to have a long-term solution to this outbreak. So initially, that's what the $5,000 of contingency funds would go to. These covers are not cheap. There's different types of covers you can purchase, but they range somewhere about $300 per home. So I think the funds will go rather quickly, but they will definitely be put to good use.
Thank you, and I really would like to thank Administrator Oliveira and the Department of Health, because they have really banded together with the community to try to address it before it gets any worse.
You know, Milolii is a rural community, and they've been fantastic. They've really come down and established a presence, almost like a Ohana type of atmosphere. When they come down, they're welcome. Chief Oliveira, Lance Uchida, the mayor's office, that one-on-one relationship with the community families down in Milolii, because they're so rural, and it's important to have that. You can't go into a community like Milolii and expect to just change things overnight. You have to develop that relationship because they're apprehensive at first, you know. These are underprivileged rural Native Hawaiian families that really don't have much. Most live below the poverty level, and they live a very simple life, and they live off the ocean, and this is scaring them. It's scaring them, and so it's great that Paʻapono is able to come together and bring together government agencies that can help these families that otherwise wouldn't be able to help themselves.
Mahalo so
Thank
much,
you.
Kai.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. And I just would like your support. Mahalo.
Thank you, Ms. David. Mr. Onishi?
Kai, do you
Sir.
folks have like a total cost for repairing all those water catchments?
In a perfect world, you would drain every tank. You would completely scrub the liner, if not replace the liner. You'd fill the water tank with 5,000 to 10,000 gallons of fresh water, and you would appropriately cover. Well, you would put a hardened shell over every tank. That's the perfect way to fix this situation, but that costs a lot of money, and we don't have those type of funds. So we're looking at a process to not, you know, water is very, very precious in South Kona, and last thing we want to do is put 10,000 gallons of water on the lava flow, you know. And so we're looking at skimming the tanks, cleaning the tanks, different. I spoke to Chief Oliver yesterday about some of those different methods of cleaning the tanks and appropriately covering the tanks. But there's various methods to treat them. But given the generous funds we have, the $5,000, it will only go so far.
And that's why, so what I'm looking at is donating or getting some contingency funds
Sure.
to you folks too. So if you folks could like get one cost, like say you're mentioning like $300 or $500 per tank,
Yep.
and say there's like 30 homes there.
Yep.
So, you know, times that, and then we can, you know, get the
Yeah,
funding.
we've gone. We have a CERT team, volunteer first responder teams down in rural communities. Milolii has one. They work with the civil defense, and they've gone house to house to identify the different needs at every household, because every home is unique, what they require, and site inspections of every tank and things like that. So that's an evolving process right now, but we should be able to have that answer fairly quickly.
Okay, so let me know, and then we keep in contact, and then
Absolutely.
we'll do one result too.
Definitely.
Okay.
The most important thing as the director of the organization is that we're good stewards of the taxpayer funds.
Okay.
We don't want a single penny to not be unaccounted for and not be used inappropriately. So you can rest assured that we will be good stewards of your money and the taxpayers' money.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that the sort of the catchment systems is one of the key areas where there's a problem. And what about sort of water for animals? I know a number of questions came up in that regard. I'm not quite sure, whether it's out for what action or what kind of cover. When you talk about covers, how do you cover these? What are your thoughts?
I can't speak for the other communities in South Kona, but I can speak for Milolii, and there are no animals in Milolii.
Okay, yeah.
Milolii is barren,
Right,
lava fields,
I realize that. I'm
Keawe.
just sort of looking
We have
beyond
dogs.
Milolii.
That's about the only animals we have in Milolii, and quite a few dogs. But well, where they are breeding grounds is vehicles, tires, other areas that can harbor mosquitoes. We don't really have any tanks. Piggeries are not allowed down in Milolii. There are no farm livestock, so
Okay.
it's
Okay,
exclusively
I
to
wasn't
the
looking at
tanks.
Milolii specifically. I'm sort of going beyond where
Going
it
beyond
sort of
that, yeah.
spread.
I really couldn't speak for
Okay.
anything past Milolii.
What I wanted to ask is it's the cost factor in all of this because I'd like to look into helping you guys out too. Kai, as you know, the nexus between Milolii and then my district is that a lot of the Boy Scout troops from my district
Absolutely.
and other districts go down to Milolii,
Yes.
and the people there are they're very welcoming, in terms of letting these people come there. And right now, got a lot of cancellations in the camping
Right.
because of this dengue outbreak. So, whatever we can do
Sure.
to try to, hasten the recovery,
Absolutely.
I'm all in, yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
just
Yeah.
get that information to
We'll do it.
Fresh, and then we'll see what we can do, yeah?
Sounds great.
Okay, Kai, thanks.
Just mahalo for everything that you guys are doing, and I'm glad that we can support your guys' efforts.
Thank you.
And just, I'm glad there's a few groups out there that are willing to go over and above to help these rural communities, so mahalo.
Thank you very much. Mahalo.
Okay, council members, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? 9 ayes, motion passes.